It's been nearly half a year since 2XK was playable to the general public during the August 2024 playtest of the Alpha Lab. After the playtest, the team said they would go quiet to put their heads down together and look at the feedback given. The biggest piece of news we got was when they reintroduced Jinx with the promised changes to not only hers, but the overall gameplay of the game. This announcement also teased another playtest in spring 2025. And before the end of the year, they had an announcement saying to look out for something in February. And February came, weeks went by with nothing. Until several Italian news sites started to report that the next Alpha Lab playtest will be in April this year. And if you were already invited to the last one, then you're already in, implying this one will be much, much bigger. This obviously caused a huge stir in the community until Sean Rivera, aka Unconquerable, game director of 2XKO, put out a statement addressing the news articles. The statement they made in a vacuum seems fine, but with everything going on at Riot these days, it has left me extremely concerned about the future of 2XKO. But today I wanted to talk about the contents of the statement, some of the odd going-ons at Riot regarding monetization, as well as the frustrations I and many members of the community are having with this drawn-out release of a game that I and many other people have been waiting for since 2016. And before we start, I don't mean any hate towards Unconquerable, the Cannon Brothers, Clockwork, or anyone else who's working on 2XKO. Game development's hard. Making a fighting game is even harder, I'm sure, and I know that the team is very passionate about the game and us as the FGC. I don't know the first thing about what they're doing. I'm just a dude who yaps on the internet. I like to cope, seethe, mauled, all that good stuff. But as someone who's been glazing this game hard last year, and even years before we knew anything about it, to be honest, after the Alpha Lab, and especially after this post, I've started to feel my first inklings of negativity, and we're just kind of fatigue of waiting for it for so long. Anyway, let's talk about the post. Okay, we're just gonna go through this and kind of read it sentence by sentence, and I'll kind of walk you through some of my thoughts at appropriate times. We've seen and enjoyed the crazy memes and the hysteria of the subreddit while waiting for the February update, and want to correct some of the misinformation going around. So if you don't know, like I alluded to before, there was a Italian leak, and you know, this was shared on the Reddit, and he actually posted the post here. But try to go to the leak, you can't really see it. It's the article is taken down, but there was information there. I saw it myself. I'm not gonna talk about, well, it says it right here, but but yeah. And yeah, we were waiting for this February update, and it kind of feels a little weird that it feels like their cards had to be played, basically. Like he couldn't post, he basically had to post this because of the leaks. So it looks like they had plans, but yeah. So let's continue reading. We were planning on running a larger scale global playtest next month, and the February update was going to cover what was in that playtest. During this update, they were going to plan a bigger playtest than the last Alpha Lab. Instead, we are going to focus on running a much smaller one than Alpha Lab 1 while we build out the infrastructure needed to make sure we can get the game in even more players' hands later this year. So this, to me, is very sad, because if you remember Alpha Lab 1, it had limited regions. Friends in Australia couldn't play, friends in Europe couldn't play, stuff like that. So that's a little sad. And the reason that they are doing this is because it seems like they have to build out the infrastructure. And he's probably talking about this Riot Direct server-sided rollback. They mentioned this when they first showed off the game after Arcane in 2021, something like that. This is basically a rollback that doesn't affect both players. If someone has a bad connection, it only affects them, basically. I find this a little weird because the rollback seemed pretty good when I played it, but obviously I'm in North America, and maybe what this is implying is that they couldn't get it to work in other countries, or maybe they need to build more servers in other countries to have a bigger playtest. So to me, it's kind of sad that we're not going to have a bigger playtest again, because a lot of my friends could not play. And if you don't know, halfway through the last playtest, they gave content creators like myself and everybody who was a content creator they gave us 200 codes each. That means halfway through the playtest, they added thousands of players, basically. If everybody who took a code played, they added literally thousands of players. So it's kind of sad that the playtest is going to be smaller than the last one. It's kind of I'm kind of scared if I will get to play one. I'll get to play, you know what I mean? They did say that Generally, if you were invited to the last one, you will get to play. So yeah, Riot, keep me close, please. In any case, yeah, so I don't know anything about networks and servers and stuff like that. Hopefully they can figure that out. I don't think that means there's anything wrong with the game per se. So hopefully they can figure that out, because like I said in my City of the Wolves video, if they do not figure out like these network issues, this shit is not gonna look good day one. So that makes total sense to me. Not that big of a deal. Hopefully they can figure it out. Next thing is, we also saw some discussion around players wondering if Pulse Fuse, the auto combo fuse, is going away. And I wanted to set the record straight. While we received a lot of positive feedback around Pulse, we also heard two suggestions that stood out to us. First, players really wanted auto combo functionality while also using a different fuse. Very concerning, we'll talk about that. Second, players duoing with a friend wanted the option to individually turn Pulse on or off, especially when an experienced player was duoing with a friend who was new to the game. As a result, Pulse is removed and replaced with an auto combo setting that each player can toggle on or off during champ select. So, TLDR, Pulse is gone out the window. Thank God. I hated Pulse, and you know why? Because when I was mashing on the training menu, Pulse was the first fuse you picked, and I never wanted it. So I'm glad it's just gone. I personally think it should still be a fuse. It should still be a fuse. I just kind of wanted it to be a separate menu option, I guess you can say. The reason why I am not really happy with the fact that Pulse is gone is because now auto combos can work with fuses, and I liked the philosophy that when you picked the Pulse fuse, you did not get to use the other fuses. Freestyle, 2x, blah blah blah. You know, I thought that was a pretty elegant way of balancing it. And I don't really like, call me a scrub, I don't really like modern controls how they exist in Street Fighter. I don't like when like two control schemes exist, because one could be better than the other in certain cases. That kind of is the argument for some characters in Street Fighter. You have one button supers, one button anti-airs, blah blah blah. Some characters are better than others, effectively creating like two versions of the character. You have modern Luke, regular Luke. Mai is a new character. Her supers are very strong in modern. NY Christie is one of the top legend ranked Mai's right now, and they play modern. I think it's kind of weird to have two different controls, and when you start messing with like the DNA of like the control schemes like this, I personally feel like things could get a little messy, right? So for example, maybe some players will find strategies that utilize a fuse and auto combos even though they wouldn't use auto combos in the first place. It just gets really messy, and I think it was totally fine the way it was before. And you could say like, oh, just don't use them, but it's like, it's there. It's not my problem to solve, you know what I mean? In any case, you know, if this is the way they want it to be, sure, but let's just figure something out and stick with it. Let's move on. We may have seen some discussions around a new fuse. We call it Sidekick. With Sidekick, your point and assist never switch. Instead, your assist champ stays sidelined to support your point champ, who gains additional health. We received a ton of feedback from players who wanted an experience that felt like more of a support role, where they could learn the game at their own pace, and we're excited to hear what you all think when you get a chance to check it out in the future. So they added I'm guessing this is the new beginner fuse. I'm not entirely certain. It doesn't make sense, but this is essentially the little brother fuse in my eyes, right? Like you're playing a single player game. Your little brother wants to play, so you just give him a second controller, and they basically effectively don't really impact the gameplay that much. There's also memes in the community where they're calling it the Yuumi fuse. And if you don't know, Yuumi is a character in League of Legends who is a cat that basically like attaches to the back of the champion, and they basically don't do anything. But they make the other champion really strong, right? And the memes are like they're literally watching Netflix while playing, and they don't have to do much, essentially. So this is kind of interesting because, so I'm not sure if this is intended to be the new beginner fuse or if they get to use more assist. It sounds like they get more HP, which reminds me of the ratio system in Skullgirls. If you don't know Skullgirls, they have a ratio. It's a team game as well, but they have a ratio system where you could pick team sizes of 1, 2, or 3. And when you play with one character, they have like more health and they do way more damage. So this is Wing Zero, a like top Ilia player, and look at how much damage she is doing to this Pinwheel, I forget their name, but she is just melting this character, right? Okay, that's just one. Let's do another one. Robo, oh, got hit. It's Jover. Look at, already half health, reset. Oh my god, this is crazy. So I don't know if the Sidekick Fuse is supposed to be like this. The difference between this thought I'm having, where you get a super character, is that you probably can use assists. That's the big thing. So maybe that's kind of what they're going for. So I wonder if that maybe you can learn one character with assists, basically. I wonder if it'll be competitively viable. It can get a little fucky that way. It's kind of interesting. I'm not upset with it, but I think it is I kind of liked when Pulse wasn't like competitively viable, and this one like might be. I don't know. It's kind of weird. It's interesting. I'm not sure how I feel about it. I think it's kind of cool. I'll probably use it to learn new characters. It'd probably be a cool way to use new DLC characters that come out. But at that point, you know, I'll probably be comfortable with how the fuses work and like certain characters work. So I'm not sure. I think it's interesting. And then let's talk about the rest. You may have seen some of the other cool stuff that we are cooking, but we are not quite ready to talk about that just yet. Thanks everyone for all the eagerness to get in the mix, and we are excited to tell you more as soon as we can. Ideally next month. Much love, with a heart. I think they were talking, I'm not gonna talk about what they said, but you know, you could look around if you want. He says ideally next month. When's that gonna happen? Maybe before Capcom Cup, maybe after Capcom Cup. That would be kind of interesting. It's maybe they don't want to step on the toes. Maybe they don't give a fuck. I want to hear something soon. This was posted in February, so it makes sense that hopefully we get something in March. But yeah. So yeah, like I said, this is like, it seems fine in a vacuum. You know, they have to work on their servers and whatnot, yada yada yada. They're still working on the game, no big deal. But 2XKO is not a small indie team at a small indie company like Game Freak. Yeah, they are a part of Riot, and Riot is basically an empire. They have so many employees, and I want to talk about their main game, League of Legends, and how they make money in that game. And the way they've been doing that is charging $500 for Ahri skins. So yeah, if you don't know, this is the Faker Hall of Fame or Hall of Legends Ahri skin that they used to honor his goatness, his goat status. And if you don't know, Ahri is a League of Legends character first. She is a 2XKO character second, third, whatever. I was working on a monetization video, but that's besides the point. But this is just to showcase the two characters. And the reason I wanted to talk about this is because this is not the first. They've had other skins that cost this much. A $250 Jin skin and another $250 Jinx skin. Basically, they've been charging these crazy prices starting very recently. And part of that is probably due to them hiring a new CEO, Dylan Jadeja. I don't know if I'm saying that correctly, but that's him. This is a new CEO. And how do League of Legends players and Riot Games players feel about this guy? Yep. They have depicted him as the devil. There's memes like this and other crazy memes like this. He's got the Pot of Greed. If you don't know what this does, it allows you to draw 2 cards from your deck. They've depicted this Hextech chest here because while he was there, they took them away. And this Reddit user Waxin, they put together this list of accomplishments that Dylan has achieved while becoming the new CEO. Well, let's take a look. 500 plus employees laid off. Riot Forge killed. If you don't know, Riot Forge is like the small studio that creates single player games. They have like a Echo Metroidvania. They have a Ziggs rhythm game, stuff like that. They're like indie game level. They're pretty small, but they're pretty neat. Probably like that Jinx, probably like that Ahri skin. You can only get it during the event. End of level up capsules, decent mythic essence acquisition, Hextech chest. That's what I was talking about before. The Hextech chest is the main way that a free to play player is able to get free skins and stuff. They took those out. They introduced the gacha systems. If you don't know, gacha is basically like gambling. Degradation of skin quality. You would think for that $500 skin, it would be much nicer, but there have been cheaper skins in the past, like the Lux Elementalist skin that comes with like 10 forms or something like that, and it's just way worse, unfortunately. They nerfed the battle pass, removal of honor orbs and capsules. So basically they want people to be mean to each other. Degradation of clash events, removal of your shop. This is like a Spotify Wrapped kind of thing where they, every 3 or 4 months or something like that, they will give you a tailored shop for you that will give you discounts on skins for the champions you played. I bought some of these. I thought this was really cute. I bought the Heartsteel Aphelios. In any case, this is all the accomplishments Dylan Jadehal has had since he has been CEO. Not a good look. Not a good look, I must say. So yeah, that's what he's done. And I wanted to talk about the Hextech chest because there has been some developments. Basically, when they took out the Hextech chest, they basically said that League was unsustainable. Something that they've had for like 8 years, I believe. And players, they shouldn't get the free stuff. And since then, they took their word back. They released this this post here and saying like, "Oh, we missed the mark." People obviously are upset that like we took away the stuff that you could get for free. And this they think I don't feel bad. I feel bad for these guys. I'm sure they didn't make this decision. I'm sure people are higher up made this decision, and these are the guys that just have to take the heat, right? This is their job. They take the heat. So I feel bad for these guys. But in any case, they brought the Hextech chest back, but Riot is still charging $250, $500, whatever, for skins that are of lower quality, and they still have gacha stuff. And you could argue Riot is a company, they need to make money off League of Legends, blah blah blah. And League of Legends is their like most profitable thing, probably. The Ari skin was apparently really successful in Asia, I believe. And so I want to talk about other games that aren't League of Legends. And the one we'll talk about is Legends of Runeterra. Legends of Runeterra is like their strategy. Yeah, here we go. Strategy card game. And basically what I know of Runeterra is that it's basically been in maintenance mode, meaning that it's been only like PvE content only. It's a fun card game that it's like basically a roguelike now. And basically this game was not making enough money, so they stopped supporting the competitive scene. If you head on over to this competitive page, the last post they had was in 2023, and this game was actually I wouldn't say criticized, but like applauded by how free to play friendly this game was. It was too free to play friendly, meaning it wasn't making enough money. So Riot decided that the game's not dead, but it's basically just kind of being pushed along, for lack of a better term. And I kind of wanted to talk about like this. Okay, so this game's not a fighting game. Card games, I think they're bigger than fighting games, right? Let's talk about another fighting game that Riot had. Yes, Riot had another fighting game in development. Granted, it was a platform fighter, so it's different, but it was called Pool Party. And they were scared of, it seems like, according to this article, it seems like it was scared of the death of, not the death, but the backlash of multiverses. Multiverses was the Warner Brothers fighting game, or was the Warner Brothers platform fighter. That was also a team game, funnily enough, but it wasn't doing so well. A game that had beloved characters across super successful franchises was not doing well, so they backed out. And Pool Party, this game was called Pool Party, probably referencing one of their most famous skin lines, the Pool Party skin line. This is Pool Party Caitlyn, probably one of the most popular skins in the game. And my boy Renekton, this is my profile picture on this YouTube channel. Yeah, he also has a Pool Party skin. So yeah, this game would have done gangbusters because people love Pool Party. Yeah, the point is Riot canceled a platform fighting game because they just were freaked out that Warner, another super popular this game had Shaggy, Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, really beloved characters. It's getting canceled, and so Riot was scared of this too. They canceled a fighting game because they just saw it as unprofitable. You know, this is not only a Riot thing, this is a concern within the gaming industry as a whole. And I wanted to talk about Concord. Yes, Concord. This big, you know, this is the game that everybody loves to shit on. Yeah, this game was in development for around 8 years, $400 million. And the game is, I believe it's no longer available. You literally cannot play this game anymore. A game they spent $400 million on, they literally yoinked from your PS5. You can no longer play it at all because they were so embarrassed. Okay, let's go back to 2XKO. So Riot bought Radiant Entertainment, the studio that made Rising Thunder, in 2016. 2016. Okay. They have not made a single cent on the development of what was Project L at the time and 2XKO now in 2016 to 2025. I'm doing my math correctly. That's like almost, that's basically 8 to 9 years, right? So yeah, it's a very sad parallel to make, but this is the reality. They literally fucking took a game out of your PS5 because this game was not making money. I'm not saying this is what's gonna happen to 2XKO, but it just gets the noggin jogging, if you know what I mean. It's getting dangerously drawn out and it's extremely exhausting to players, and it's really concerning that the game might be in dev hell. Of course, I hope not, because this update we had is still going on. Okay, so that's like the going-ons of the industry and stuff going on at Riot, but I wanted to talk about something in this post that made me really concerned, and it's kind of reaching a breaking point for me as a player waiting for this game. And it's the fact that I feel like they take too much feedback. I feel like they want this game to be so perfect, and they want it to appeal to way too many people. I feel that it's hurting their creative vision. It makes me feel like there is no creative vision for the game. Okay, let's just put it that way. They are the developer, I am the player. The developer needs to tell me what is good for me. The players do not generally know what is good for them. I'm just gonna keep it a buck. They are the developer. They need to pick a lane and go, right? At what point do they just commit, you know? At what point do they put their foot down and say, no, the game is going to be this way. We want it to be nasty. We want it to be fun. We want it to be this way. We want Darius to be this way. You know, fucking deal with it. You know, it's weird to me. Like, the game started off as a 1v1 game. No big, and then changed it to 2v2. Okay, that's probably for the better. But they started with the beginner fuse to be Fury Fuse. You know, you don't have to think too much about it. It just increases your damage at low health. Pretty cool. But then they added the Pulse Fuse. Okay, so is the Fury Fuse still good, or what's going on with that? And now they just ripped out the Pulse Fuse, and now everybody has auto combos. And now they have to like balance auto combos with other fuses, stuff like that. That's another thing. I feel like they keep changing the game for like they want to bring in new players, right? They want to make the transition from beginner to intermediate very smooth. So they're adding, you know, they added Pulse Fuse, which is auto combos. It's fine, completely fine. I thought it was literally the best thing they could have done. It doesn't bother me. I don't have to deal with it. It's kind of bad. But they can grow a little bit. And now they take it out. And now they're adding the Sidekick Fuse, and they're doing the auto combos toggle. And it's like, dude, at what point do we just trust the player to hit light, medium, heavy, launcher, light, medium, heavy, special move? It's literally a 8 letters. You can do light, medium, heavy, special move. It's completely fine. You can do that. I started playing fighting games by doing 2K2D 214S in Guilty Gear Strive. That's fucking Kai's 2K2D Diary Clat. If it hit, it hit. If it didn't, it didn't. I'm safe on block. It's completely fine. I had a motion input. I might add, like, and dude, I'm not one of those dudes who needs the motion input in the game. I have the Yasuo video and stuff like that on the old 2SKO videos. The combos are already hard. They're already hard in the game. We don't need the motion inputs, But it's like, we already took them out. How much easier do we need to make it? Like, we can trust people to press 4 buttons in a row. Is Sidekick Fuse really the way that we want to go? Where they just watch like a... I'm not going to say it, but you know what I mean. They're in the back not doing anything. Is that how they're really going to learn? Dude, we just trust them. They could do it. Look at Lily Pichu. She is killing the game right now in fighting games. She's trying so many of them. And like, you know, and she's just having a good time. And like, she's playing hard games. Like, she's playing fucking Uni 2 for crying out loud. It's fine. People are gonna like the games if they just try it, you know? Think about the Jinx rework. You know, people didn't like how Jinx worked. And think about Ahri rework. She's been reworked twice since we've seen her. Nobody understood how the ammo system worked. They're going off the fact that people got to play her and nobody understood how to play her with like 20 minutes of time with her. But if we got our hands on her and you guys thought it was a good idea, we could lab and figure it out. It doesn't have to be easy right out the gate. You know what I mean? Yeah. So they changed Ahri a lot already. And what about the next characters? We've only seen what, 7 characters? What about the next characters that come out? What if people don't like them? Are they gonna like take them back to the drawing board? How long is it gonna take to just get the game out? It's not gonna be perfect. It's not gonna be perfect. I know you want to strive to be perfect. I get it. I totally get it. But at what point do you just release the game? It's a live service game. You could fix it down the road. It's not gonna be perfect. Darius is probably gonna be fucking broken still because he was that way in the alpha lab. And by the way, that was just the alpha lab. We're gonna have an alpha lab too. When's the beta lab? I just don't understand like why they keep changing the core of the game so much just for what? And like I said, we're waiting almost nearly 8 years for this game. I don't want to like, dude, this game, dude, I learned about this game in 2016 when I was in college. I'm pushing fucking 30 now. Just let me play it. I don't want to exaggerate. I've been waiting for this game for a really long time and it's getting to this breaking point where like I'm starting to not care. Partially, I feel like this is probably because the game was announced really early. I've been waiting for it for a long time. So I made this timeline. Let's look at this timeline. These are all of the notable updates from when we knew about the game. Starting in 2016, when we learned that Riot acquired Radiant Entertainment. Back in 2016, that they announced that, or we learned that Rising Thunder will close and they will begin working on a new game. Some time passes. 2019, Tom Cannon at EVO confirms that Riot is developing a fighting game. Pretty cool. But then they announced Project L at the Riot 10th anniversary and they showed off Jinx, Ahri, Darius, and Katarina. The game was in early development, obviously. And then some time passed. 2020, nothing happened. Makes sense. Literally hell on earth was happening. 2021, at that very end, when Arcane finally ended, they did the Riot X Arcane epilogue event. It showed off the new art style, the 2v2 mode. They showed off the game that was 2v2. They showed that it has rollback, and they showed off Jinx, Echo, Ahri, Darius. Looked amazing. Basically, a whole other year later, we finally got an update about Alawi being confirmed to be in development and free to play confirmed, which was it was pretty obvious, but you know, it was nice to be confirmed. And then we got another small update, which was pretty nice. In December 2022, the tag mechanics and the system mechanics were explained. And then 2023, this was when stuff started to get really serious in my eyes. I call it the big one. This was when all the content creators got to go play the game at a private playtest. And then they all brought home their thoughts. This was still Project L. And then they announced that is playable at EVO. And then in August, they announced Yasuo during EVO. This was super fucking hype. They announced, and it was playable at EVO to the general public for the very first time. And they had the Red Bull pin drop event, which was this event right here, where devs and pros got to play it. This event was super sick. And this was when I started to feel like, oh my god, the game is coming out. the game is coming out. The game is real. You know what I mean? And you know, maybe that's partially my fault, like for feeling that way. But I felt like they did this event way too early. This is not an event that you do for a game that is 2, 3, 4, 5 years out. You know what I mean? This is an event that you do for a game that is coming in like 6 months. You know what I mean? So yeah, this was so hype. This was so hype. But yeah, let's go back to the timeline. After Evo, nothing for the rest of the year. In February 2024, this when Product L was rebranded as 2XKO. They officially showed Alawi, and they had the year-end preview with Tom Cannon, and this is when he said we might have a playtest this year, guys. Evo Japan in April, this is where Alawi was playable. Super sick. June 2024, Alpha Lab Q&A. This was huge. This is when they announced that we are going to do the Alpha Lab. They announced the Pulse Fuse, they announced the Ari rework. July 2024, Braum was announced. They had the Evo panels and they confirmed the skins. And August 2024, this is when the Alpha Lab actually happened. And then November 2024, Jinx was reintroduced, new system and mechanics and UI, and teased an announcement in 2025. Move on to 2025, February, the Italian news leak. This is where we're at right now. The Unconquerable update. We might get something next month in 2025, and then the rest of the year, we don't know. So now I want to talk about like the rest of the year, right? Obviously, we have March coming up. We might hear something and we might have another Alpha Lab. And if it is another Alpha Lab, it's going to be smaller. But I wanted to talk about TFT for a second. At TFT Macau, which is basically a big TFT tournament, I guess, at the end of 2024, they did a roadmap for the content. And if you don't know, sets in TFT are basically like big patches. The current set is the Arcane set. It's basically Arcane themed. And right smack dab in the middle, July 2025, which would be right before Evo. When this was announced, I was like, holy crap, anime style fighting tournament. Fighting tournament. I was like, dude, 2XKO set. It's coming. It's literally coming. And then we get this February update, and yeah, I have no idea, man. It's disappointing. It's so disappointing. Why would you have this if the game's not ready? And I'm not crazy for thinking this way. They do this stuff where they like kind of coincide their stuff. Because when Arcane came back last year, Arcane Season 2, they brought back Jinx. They reintroduced Jinx. And this was kind of like hype. It was kind of whatever to me because it was like, dude, we already knew Jinx exists. It's not that big of a deal. I mean, she looks great, but it was like, I was mostly thinking like, when do we get to play her? You know what I mean? Can we play her though? And we didn't even get a guide or anything like that. Like the content creators, they got to go play, were invited to like an Arcane showing and they got to play Jinx, but they didn't even get their own footage. They had just had to use this footage. So this seemed relatively small. And I felt like, you know, Arcane is huge. This would have been a perfect time to introduce a new character. And we all know it's going to be Vi, right? Vi is basically like the second main character of League of Legends / Arcane now. The 2XKO is not a League of Legends game. It's an Arcane game. You know, if you know what I mean. Arcane like completely eclipses League of Legends. So obviously they're gonna add Vi, the other main character, and she's also like a brawler type to Jinx's zoner type. So she's like kind of rushed down. It makes too much sense. It's perfect. So yeah, it's a little disappointing that it was just Jinx. I wish they didn't even have to show Vi gameplay. They could have just teased her like a cutscene or something like that. Yeah, that's all I got. I don't really know what else to say. I mean, the game is still coming out. According to the website, it's still coming out 2025, which is crazy to me because we need more characters. This game has only had this game only has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 characters since 2019. Yeah, we need more characters, and we need more characters stat if this game is coming out 2025. Like maybe you could do rapid fire, but is it coming out like December 31st or something? And the game's still chugging along. It still has they're still hiring, which is good to know. They're still hiring people. Ideally, they already hired those people, maybe? I don't know. But it's, at least they're still putting money into the game, is what I would say. So, how do I and 2XKO stand? Well, moving on, I'll cover stuff as it comes out, but I probably won't be making a lot of the videos that I had planned until it's actually closer. I wanted to make stuff like features that 2XKO needs, or I wanted to do a series where this champion is like this fighting game character, like this fighting game character, that kind of stuff. I'm probably not gonna do that stuff anymore. I'm a little disgruntled with 2XKO. Obviously, I'm still hyped. I want to play the game. That's my feedback, right? We want to play the game. Like, just as a side note, let's take a look at my desktop. Look at that on the top left corner. I still have the 2XKO Alpha Lab shortcut on my desktop. It's like one of many icons. I have some DaVinci projects or whatever. Let's just try. Let's see what happens. Oh, something's working. Something's happening. Something's happening. Oh, oh my god, it has a Illaoi here. Hold on, let's try to log it. Let me go. Okay. What? Where's 2XKO at? It's so troll, dude. It's so troll. It's so troll. I only have TFT installed. But yeah, that's how much I want to play 2XKO. I think we'll be lucky if the game comes out in 2025. It definitely will not be the savior of the FGC. I should have never thought that. I kind of gave up during that in the Alpha Lab. I should have never thought that. I don't think it's gonna be canceled. I don't think it's gonna be canceled, that's for sure. But I do worry, like I said, for Legends of Runeterra, that maybe it won't like make as much money as they thought and they stopped supporting it. You know, this game is, fighting game players are boomers, you know what I mean? They're not used to like Fortnite battle passes, League of Legends battle passes, buying skins. Are they going to be willing to pay $20, $40, $60 for a skin? Like, look at the outcry for Capcom skin. They're like less than $5 and people are fucking freaking out. Mostly because you can't buy a bundle and because you can't buy any of them. But like League, or not League, 2XKO, are people willing to buy those skins? I mean, I certainly am. The game's free, and if I play it for a long time, like, of course I'm gonna buy a skin for a character I want. But like, it's kind of hard, right? Like, if they don't get a bunch of new people who are willing to buy skins, it's kind of like they're not gonna make money. They're not gonna make money. It's just a simple fact. I don't think it'll be a smaller release, but I'm certain it's not gonna be as big as like Street Fighter or Tekken. Maybe it'll be biggest in the FGC for sure. It'll be the biggest game at Evo. But I'm pretty unsure of the future of this game. And if Riot will continue to support the game that we've all spent so long dedicating our time to. And yeah, that's all I got. I've been nugieboy. Thank you for watching my video. Like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think about 2XKO. Hopefully it comes out soon. Peace.